Well, it's time now to get some business news on the programme, and we're joined now by our business editor, Kate Moody. Kate, you're going to be starting first of all with a look at the new data coming out of the United States about retail sales, which will be a big part of America's economic recovery.
Yeah, consumer spending is worth about 70% of economic activity in the United States. It's really the backbone of the American economy. So when we saw retail sales collapse during the lockdowns of March and April, we saw the U.S. economy being dragged down into recession as well. Strong spending is now going to be key to supporting any kind of an economic recovery. U.S. consumers have now increased their spending, their pace of spending for the 6th month in a row. But this 0.3% increase that we've seen recorded for the month of October was much weaker than most analysts had expected, and it was significantly lower than the 1.6% jump that we saw in September. Analysts saying that Americans have really pared back their spending as the number of coronavirus infections continues to rise across the country and as they head back into a period of uncertainty, cold weather, and some more restrictions as well. Data from the U.S. Commerce Department show that spending has risen on things like new cars, home improvements, and athletic equipment, and there's been a drop in areas that involve more in-person interaction like travel and beauty services.
So that's the picture, Kate, for American consumers. Tell us, how are individual retailers faring?
Well, those same kind of trends are actually being reflected in the individual quarterly results that are coming in. Home Depot, for example, reported strong sales growth for the third quarter. Its revenue was up around 23% from the same period a year ago. The country's largest home improvement and construction chain says it's going to be increasing compensation for its hourly workers. Walmart, the world's largest retail group, said that its quarterly sales rose about 6.4%. That's a much slower pace than we saw earlier on in the pandemic. Shopper traffic in stores has been dropping as customers focus on online purchasing. E-commerce sales for Walmart jumped 79% last quarter. Walmart hasn't provided a new financial outlook, but it says it's been investing heavily in its website and that it expects to continue to do so. Meanwhile, chains that focus on clothing and apparel have seen a drop in sales. Kohl's, for example, saw a 13% drop in its quarterly sales. Many retailers are rolling out their Black Friday discounts early, trying to get a jump on that crucial holiday sales period in a year where it'll be more important than ever.
Meanwhile, Kate, global stock markets have been very volatile in recent weeks. How's the picture today?
Well, we saw major rallies around the world on Monday on the back of that news of a potential vaccine breakthrough. That optimism has worn out slightly this Tuesday. The major European indices closed mixed, just the CAC 40 ending slightly above the flat line here in Paris. Investors still a bit worried about this renewed stalemate among EU member states over a possible coronavirus relief fund. EasyJet shares dropped around 2% in London as the low-cost carrier reported its first ever annual loss, and the FTSE 100 was down nearly 1%. Wall Street hit new record highs on Monday, but it's also turned downwards this Tuesday. For the Dow Jones, yesterday was the first new record high since February, and it's now been the fastest turnaround for that index in decades. The Dow down about 130 points this hour. Shares of drugstore giants Walgreens and CVS are trading down about 8% after Amazon said it would be launching a new online service for prescription drugs. Tesla shares, meanwhile, have soared as much as 13% higher overnight, now trading up about 8% on the NASDAQ after it was confirmed that the electric car company would be joining the S&P 500 in December. Now, it was turned down by that benchmarks committee back in September because it was deemed too volatile then. As it stands now, Tesla would be one of the 10 most valuable companies to trade on the S&P 500, and this latest surge in its share price has added estimated $15 billion to the personal wealth of its founder, Elon Musk. He's now overtaken Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg as the third richest person in the world.
Wow. Thank you very much, Kate Moody, there with the business update on the programme.